OP11 is just around the corner. Pre-releases start this Friday. I think it's time for you to learn a lot more about OP11. Blue, Yellow, Nami. Now this leader for ×1 Dawn gets to gain plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. A very strong effect that is very defensive while having a very aggressive effect that says when you basically take a life or your opponent takes a life, draw one card. This leader was probably the most hyped leader whenever it was first released, and now with the strength of Blue Purple Luffy, that's the deck everyone's talking about. We will cover Blue Purple Luffy though in the near future, but today is all Blue Yellow Nami. Today I have a deck profile that also features cards from the new Blue starter deck, the Ace and Whitebeard starter deck, but just know that we will be going over a list you can play as soon as OP11 releases, very soon. Probably within the next week. Now we're going to start our deep dive into all 6 of the new leaders, starting with this Blue Yellow Nami. Let's get into that deck profile and then some games on the sim. And away we go into Nami right here that says your turn once per turn. You may activate this effect when a life leaves any life area. Draw one card if you have 7 or less cards in hand, and then ×1 Dawn on opponent attacks. Once per turn, discard one card and gain plus 2,000 for this turn. So your opponent's turn, we become a 7k leader. On our turn, we get to draw many cards over and over again once per turn. We use strong effects like Zeus, which KOs a 5 cost or lower and adds 1 life to your hand, allowing you to then draw a card. We use Hiyori, which is add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand, and then replace it with a different card, which still allows you to draw a card even with this effect. And then we just use big swings, basically. Just to put it simply, that's the main ways in this deck profile specifically that we control the life of our opponent, other than 8-drop useless Captain Kid, which just trashes the top of your opponent's life. After on play, you may rest this card, and then trash the top of your opponent's life. Very simple and to the point. Just removing a life is very strong, and then that allows you to draw a card, and then at the end of your turn, Useless Kid also allows you to draw one and trash one if your opponent has 2 or less life. So we use all 3 of these, but the biggest thing is just having some good swings into our opponent and kind of controlling the board as best we can. We use that with that Zeus we talked about, popping 5 cost or lower characters, or the Nojiko, which says if your leader's Nami, return 1 5 cost to its owner's hand. Being a 2 cost that bounces a 5 is so strong. That's why it has a stipulation of only happening in Nami. We also run Kozuki Odin, which is from that starter deck we talked about in the beginning of the video, that just says if this character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may instead trash 2 cards from your hand, being a very sticky body, especially in a deck that draws a lot like Nami. And then it has the activate main once per turn, rest 3 Dawn, and return 1 character to your hand. So we can return these 2 costs that we're playing out, like the Nojiko, or the Hiyori, or the Zeus, all this counter ability, to our hand, and then return, or, whoa, why did we disappear? And then set this character as active. So we get to swing in twice with the Odin for only 3 Dawn, which is very strong because then we can Nojiko, return Nojiko, play Nojiko against an aggro deck that's really low to the ground, like a 5 cost deck, and just continue to manipulate the board. So Nojiko is a big priority. Same thing with Hiyori or Zeus, allowing us to remove bodies. We can reuse these abilities or have them for counter in the future. So this Odin effect is just so strong. Now, obviously you have to restand the 3 Dawn, so you can't Nojiko on the same turn, but you can Nojiko the turn before and then the turn after. You can Hiyori the turn before and the turn after. You can Zeus the turn before and the turn after. But don't think that's everything that we play. We also have one more top-end card in the deck list because we've already been over Odin, we've already been over Kid, but you also have the 8-drop secret Luffy. This has Rush, and then when attacking, trash 1 card from your hand, return 1 character with a cost of 4 or less to its owner's hand, then give up to 1 rested Dawn to your leader or character. So on 8 Dawn, we can use this effect and give the rested Dawn to Nami, and then get the Nami effect in the future. Now, the only issue that I really see with Luffy is that it bounces 4 cost, and 4 cost is not too strong in the current format. Honestly, it's all about big bodies. So this is a 2 of, definitely makes sense. Definitely running 4 would not really work in the current format other than against the aggro decks that kind of beat out Blue Purple Luffy. But going against Blue Purple Luffy itself, that's why we have a difficult time and why I think maybe Odin helps a lot, being able to swing in twice. So keep that in mind. Definitely a good card, but bouncing 4s is just not it right now. To continue on with the rest of the deck profile, though, we are running 4 of the Charlotte Puddings, which just basically refreshes your opponent's whole hand. So if they have 10 cards, they go down to 5, shuffle their deck, do all that yada. You know what Pudding does at this point. You also probably know Cavendish, just as a draw 2, trash 1 when attacking. We have 2 of the new Nami, which is a blocker, and then if your leader is multicolored, draw 3. Place 2 cards from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck in any order, being very strong to filter the deck and set it up how you need it, and being able to manipulate the top of your deck for your matchups. We also are running Trafalgar Law, which is a 1 cost chump blocker, and Vista, which is a 1 cost chump blocker with the Whitebeard Pirates type. Now, why there's 3 Vistas and 1 Law. I don't fully get it. Maybe that's something with the deck profile and how it went over, because that's just a weird one. So I don't know. I'm just a boy. Maybe it was just like a little tech choice in the deck profile when we found it on One Piece Top Decks, which is where I got this deck list. Now, Martial D Teach is just an activate main. You may place 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck, attach 2 Rested Dawn to one of your leaders or characters. So how this works basically is you get 2 free Rested Dawn, because you get to put the 2 Dawn on your leader, and then you get your leader effect, which is the big part of it. But then you put a card from your hand on the top of your deck, and then you draw 1 because you're swinging in for a bigger number, and allows you to really push the aggression in many matchups and really not lose tempo. It's basically just 2 free Dawn every single turn, which is why this card's played in the deck. Now we have Satori, which is a 2k counter with trigger, discard 1 card, play this card. Very good, gets a 5k on the body, or it's a 2k in hand. We have Kikinojo, which just plays out a life if your opponent has 3 or less life, and then on KO, place the top card of your deck on the top of your life pile. 3 of the Red Rock, which just bottom decks any character in the game, which is very important, especially in the current format, because I told you we need some big boy removal, and that's what Red Rock is. Now, it does have the trigger to place a 4 cost or lower on the bottom of its owner's deck, and we can use this with Hiyori to really just try to get the trigger, but usually we're really just using the 6 Dawn to put a 9 cost character, 10 cost character back to the bottom of our opponent's deck. And to finish it off, Gum Hawk. You may rest 3 Dawn if both players' total life is 5 or more, KO 1 character with a cost of 5 or less. So it's just 1 more removal piece, but also it has the counter ability that gives up to 1 of your leaders plus 3,000 during this battle. So a 3k counter for 1 Dawn, really kind of numbers there. So we definitely need to run this. I mean, you don't definitely need to run this specifically. It's an option. Not my favorite option, but I do understand why we run it in the deck. Now, that's going to be the blue yellow Nami. I know you're just ready for some games on the sim and see us basically just go probably undefeated, because this deck is goated with the sauce, unless we see blue purple Luffy, and then we're cooked. So we're going to try to play all the new leaders when we use this deck profile. We are going to play many of the new leaders, I should say, because that's what we're trying to learn against. So let's go into the games on the sim. All right, we're going to start round 1 against the deck we told you we don't want to go against. We're going to take first, although we usually do want to take the second curve as far as I can tell with the deck profile. And we're going to mulligan this hand. There's just not too much to do with the first curve here. We can definitely put down a Law Blocker just to have it. It's not going to hurt. Can't swing us anyway, so we don't need to put the 1 Dawn on our leader. We have a good 5 curve with the Nami, but the Cavendish is kind of just misplaced, so we may go Cavendish and then Nami on 7. Here, we're just going to probably swing in for 7 at our opponent, put down another Chump Blocker. There's not anything to KO. 7, just forcing a 2k out of hand from our opponent here, or they just take. We're going to draw another card and then put down the other 1 cost blocker. So we got some ammo here on the board, and our opponent's going to ramp 1. They're going to swing in. We're actually just going to take the 7 here. So we're not going to use the effect. We're going to go ahead and take and draw a card. Now we're going to put down a 6 cost character. We're going to swing in for 6 at our opponent pretty easily here, and then we'll put down our own little 6k. It's going to kind of take away what the Bon Clay can do. Ramping is really good for our opponent, and we'll pass. Cat, I need you to move. All right, now we just sit here and wait, because our opponent is almost to the place that they need to be. Now with 2 Bon Clays, they definitely are in the place they need to be, and they can swing in very aggressively here. So with us trying to fill out this board, they're going to swing in for 7. I think we're just going to take a 7 and then block out of the next one. So we'll take this and then block the next attack. We're going to have a lot of cards in hand, so 9 into us. We're not going to use this. We're going to use the blocker Vista, resolve the attack, and call it a day. So now what we can do is swing in at the Bon Clay. Yeah, we're going to swing in a Bon Clay, draw 2, trash 1. I don't think we're going to need 2 Odins here. And then we're sitting on 7 Dawn. We could go ahead and play down Odin. It would be nice, but then we don't get our effect, and we're kind of behind if we put down Odin. So I think it's going to be better to go... Would it be better to go Zeus? I think that's just going to put us too low. So we may have to just Red Hawk here and then KO the Bon Clay. Can't even do that. All right. Well, there we go. Swinging for 6. Counters the Bon Clay. I forgot that you have to have 5 or more. That's so stupid. Such a stupid stipulation there, in my personal opinion. Such a stupid stipulation. But it is what it is. Our opponent's at 8 Dawn at the start of their turn, so they're going into 10. They get to draw 2 cards, basically. They get to draw 1. They reveal Nami, and then they get to draw 1 more that they get to stack on the top of their deck. They placed it on the bottom, so they didn't see what they needed there. So we know they're not going to play down a 9-cost Sanji. They have 10 cards in hand to block around the board and a lot of Dawn. So they can definitely put some pedal to the metal here. Kind of annoying on how everything went down. I think if we get the 8-cost Luffy, bounce our Nojiko, replay Nojiko next time, maybe bounce the Nami. Could be good, but we're only going into 9 Dawn here, so we don't have too much to do. We could also go Zeus, take a life, but with our opponent, really stacking up their hand size, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Especially that misplay. That misplay put us really behind, but hey, that's what happens when you're learning new cards and new decks. So it's just to know that it will happen. It will happen a lot. They get to draw 3. They place 2 cards on the top, so they know already what they're drawing. They just place the same 2 cards on the top. They just get an additional blocker. Swing in for 6 here. we are definitely going to give them a 1k counter and call it a day. We don't want to lose Cavendish. Cavendish has a lot of strength in this deck. So now what we'll do is probably swinging for 6 and 7. Because there's no way, we don't have a good way to really Zeus. So we're going to draw 2, trash 1. That might change a lot, actually. I'm not going to lie to you. That may change a lot. Trash the Zeus. I think we might have to just go Pudding and Nami. I think now that we drew that, we go Pudding, get them down to 5 cards, replace the whole deck, and then play down a Nami of our own. I think we'll place on top. Getting an 8-cost kid would be nice. So we'll go Cavendish and then kid, just because we want to draw into the kid. And then we'll just pass. We still have 2 blockers on the board. We have a ton of counter in hand. We have a red rock. We got to remove everything out of their hand. So our misplay is not as bad thanks to the Cavendish. Really helping, and I think that shows the strength of Cavendish. Now they do have an Usohachi here. That's what they choose to draw, and then they get to draw an additional card from their actual turn. So they go back to 7 cards from 9. We only put them down 2 cards and took away all of our tempo. Not that we had much to go with anyways, but it is what it is. I think Odin's going to come and clutch this next turn, possibly use this Captain Kid just to burn a life. They played 9 Lin, they don -1, they give us a life out of the Nami probably, and they get to just keep doing their thing here. So really good plays here by our opponent. They get to remove our blocker, and then they're going to swing in for 7 with their leader. And we're going to definitely be countering out of this one. Red Rock next turn may not be bad, but we're not too set up for Red Rock. We may just take the 7, actually, because I forgot we don't have our leader effect active. We draw a Cavendish, they swing in for 6. We'll give them a 2k counter Zeus, and then a 2k counter. We should have done Satori, technically. Has no effect at this point. Yep, and then, I would love to go Odin, just because putting the aggression on would be very nice, but it's hard to say. I think we have to go Odin here, sadly. So we probably won't Odin first, but we do know we are going to Odin. Leaves us 3 additional Dawns, so we can go 6 into a Nami and then 8 into a Nami. Could also just go 6 in a life, but these 2 Namis are going to get very annoying. We're going to just drop another Cavendish, we don't need it. And then 8 into one of them. Just trying to remove a body off the board here. Go ahead and get rid of a blocker, and then we'll tap 7, play the character, and pass. So now we have something that does become active or restand itself as active, so that's going to be pretty good here. This Odin is very strong, especially in this matchup, to help clear board, because we can go very heavy with it. It's basically like a 9-cost Zoro just once, which is pretty good actually. They draw Gear 2, which is a 1 Dawn 3k or rest or ramp Dawn, and obviously they're not going to be ramping Dawn on 10 Dawn, so it is what it is. They have the Katakuri, restands their big mom, so they get swinging with Lin. We get to probably just block out of this attack, trying to keep the Cavendish on board to get a lot of tempo from the Cavendish itself. The Katakuri will restand the Lin, and they're going to swing 7 into us. We will give them 2 cards here, being the Cavendish and a Story. I don't want to go down to like no life, basically. That would be kind of bad, So I think what we're going to do here is Red Rock the Katakuri, because Katakuri will get them a lot of tempo here if we continue to let it live. We're going to go 6 into face, draw 2, trash 1. Pretty simple here, getting some good filter. We still have the kid active. We get to draw an additional card here, being a Zeus. Now we're going to go 6 more into face, and then we're going to go 8 and 8 into face. 1 8 will be countered with a 1-cost event, and then the next one, oh, we're gonna have to return something to hand, right? Yeah, we're gonna return the Nojiko to hand. So we bounce the Nojiko, restand the character, tap 3 Dawn, swing 8 again. So now we have the 8, the Nojiko back, so we can use it on the Nami later. They go ahead and Gum Giant here, Dawn -2, and then basically go back to 7 cards in hand, or 6 cards in hand, and then draw 2. So we'll have 8 cards total. Really does nothing to them, to our opponent. We did get to draw a lot that turn. That was the big thing with what our leader does. That was really good for us. They're down to 1 life, so we can't Kid and Odin on the same turn. They reveal a Sanji, a 9-cost Sanji, meaning they're probably going to play 2 9-drops this turn. Possibly another Lin, so a 9 into a Lin would be very good for our opponent here. Into another category would also be very good. It's hard to say though, because if they use all 9 Dawn, they're really not getting rid of our characters on board, because we're going to save whatever they swing at. So they do go with the Lin, Dawn -1, put the Cavendish on the bottom, gain a life, and remove a body on the board is very good for our opponent. And then they'll probably go 6 in the face, we'll give them a 2k counter, and then possibly 9 in the face or 9 to Odin. Depends on what they want to do there. Kiganojo's not going to do much for us, so we're definitely not going to be worrying about that. They get rid of the Cavendish just like we expected, and 9 there. We're going to give them a 2k counter, Hiyori. I'm trying to keep the availability for the Zeus just in case, and they're going to go 7 into us. I think we're just going to take that. We get another kid, and now bouncing this Nami may be good. Just going kid. Let's swing 8 and see what they choose to do here. See what they choose to do with 8. We know they have 1 brick because they still have that 1-cost event, so they take the 8. So now we can Nojiko the blocker and then drop an 8-drop kid and put them down to 0, but then we won't have a Dawn in our leader. Run it. We draw an additional card, pass turn, draw one, trash one, boom. So now we're just hoping. We're just hoping at this point. We have a good amount of counter, but we won't become a 7k leader. So if they split this properly, they go 9, 11, 12, 9, 11, 13. Can we get out of one of those? So we can get out of a 9 basically right now, 10. So we can get out of a 10k attack. Yeah, we can get out of a 10k attack. So it really depends on how they split things, I guess. Oh, that does hurt. That does in fact hurt. Depends on how they do this though. It does depend on how they do this. We definitely needed that one Dawn on our leader because we could have just no-G-code the next turn. Okay, so we have to resolve this attack. This is gonna be weird how we have to do this. So we have to take that one, then we can counter out of this one, and then we can counter out of this one, right? But we had to do it like that because we couldn't counter out of the Luffy attack if we would have countered out of the first attack, but we knew it was gonna be 9-9. So it only makes sense here. Now they get to remove one of our bodies off the board, which is totally okay with us because that was probably the best target for them to remove, because if not it'd be 2 like 14k attacks. But then we just go 19 and that's all we can hope for. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they only had 10k, so they could only get the 16. We were going 19. That would have been game. GG's to our opponent. Even with our misplay, the big misplay, the big tempo swing right there, we still were able to take it in the end. I was really like wondering, I was like, do I have to just chalk this whole match? But no, we did end up getting there. It worked out, but I think we definitely had some misplays. This is our first match playing Blue Yellow Nami with this deck profile. We've done a video in the past, so if you want to go check out that video, you're more than welcome to. But this is us still learning the new OP11 format. And just so you know, I will have a video going up of how I won my treasure cup with Vegapunk, so stay tuned, subscribe for that video very soon. Katakuri time. This deck is a lot of fun. I actually really am excited to play Katakuri. We're gonna choose second here. Probably should choose first, but I want to show some different kind of sides of things. I don't hate and don't love this. I think we're gonna keep it. Might as well. I think I've got ideas. I got some cooking to do. So they put down the Amane. This is just a blocker if you have a Big Mom's Pirate type character. And we could go Teach here early, or we could go Hiyori, set up Satori, and I think I like that a little more. We're gonna use the card action, take the top of our life, and then put the Satori in the top, draw an additional card, and pass our turn. So now we're kind of set up with later for some bounce options if we need to put the Hiyori back in our hand. We also have the Kozuki Oden to bounce the Amane, Anane, whatever it is. When our opponent swings us, we can discard a Kikinojo or a Teach or a Vista or something. Our opponent puts down the pudding. They get to go Dawn -1, look at the top of our deck and gain 1000 power. They get the ramp to ramp the Dawn back with the Katakuri. I'm really excited for that. We're gonna go and take this, use the trigger, and then drop the Vista that we talked about. I don't think we need it right now at the moment, at least. Pudding, I just won this, like I said, from my Vegapunk deck, so definitely keep up to date with the channel to see this. Now, do we want to go ahead and pop the character? Because this pudding is gonna get a lot of power. Let's swing in for 5 at our opponent. Let's decide after. We should probably Zeus first, just to see what our top life is, because we add it to our hand anyways, and then we get to draw a card. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Well, we get to draw a card here. I think we are gonna Zeus though. Take the top life, pop the pudding, just so they don't get that as much value, because I mean that's a free time to look at the top of our life every single turn. We knew that, or they knew that it was a red rock that's going to our hand, or maybe they knew about the Odin. I'm not too sure. The biggest thing is just switching things up on how the Katakuri plays, and you'll see that happen. So now when they go Dawn -1, or they can activate main, declare the cost, and then reveal the top card, and then go from there. You'll see what we're cooking up here. You'll see what they're cooking up here. Obviously, we're not going to use our leader effect. We're going to give them a 2k counter to save our character. And we definitely should have saved the Zeus for popping the Parasparrow, because now they get to ramp an active Dawn and draw a card. So pretty good. Or like filter the hand, they draw 1, trash 1. Clear a cost, reveal 1 card from the top of your opponent's deck. If the revealed card is the same as the declared cost, draw 1 and add 1 card from your Dawn deck as active. Jeez, that was a lot to put out there because that was a struggle. Now a Nojiko would be really good. Nojiko would be very good off the top. We don't get it, so we're going to do this again. Take the top of our life, pop the Parasparrow, draw a card. Boom. Now we get the Nojiko. Pretty good stuff right there though. We will go ahead and, I don't think we need Teach. Swing in for 7 and 7, because we already drew for our leader effect here. So we'll go for 7 and 7 here into our opponent. Our big thing was just getting this Parasparrow. It's basically like the pudding, Sanji pudding, basically, where they get the ramp every turn, but in a way where they have to go Dawn -1 first. But if you get 2 of those on the board, now you're ramping 2 every turn as active. So anytime you go Dawn -1, you get a free Dawn back, basically. Pretty good stuff there. They do counter out of this one. They leave the blocker on the board. Pretty good for our opponent. We don't have a ton of counter here, sadly. We have a ton of bricks in hand, which we have not seen yet, but obviously you're seeing it now. So I think getting this 8-cost kid would be very good, but obviously doing that on 8 Dawn is not as great. Now, if we would put down the Teach last turn, we would have 1k less counter. Just not too good, not too good. Honestly, if I was our opponent, I'd probably just swing pretty heavy into life, put us in a position where we have to kind of block her up or stay alive somehow and not lose the game, because obviously we know we don't have anything. They grab the Charlotte Paris Barrow with the Charlotte Pudding, which gets to Dawn -1, rest this card, look at the top of your opponent's deck. They're going to swing in for 7 into Satori probably. They're going to go Dawn -1, check the top of our life. Then they're going to ramp one. We're going to choose no leader effect, of course, just let the Satori go. I think swinging face was actually better there, in my personal opinion, but unless our opponent just maybe bricked up. Maybe that's what it is. They don't have what they need. They show the Cavendish, so we have a Cavendish we're about to draw into. They may be able to find out that we don't have a ton of counter, just based off how this is going. So, yeah. Definitely can see we don't have a ton of counter here. Now, I'm trying to see if there's any options that are better than just playing down, because we could Nojiko Parasparrow and then Cavendish, still have 2 Dawn available for us, and we get to put down 2. Oh, I think that's gonna be the best bet. We're gonna bounce that back. We're gonna swing in for 7 at our opponent, because we just don't have enough counter to leave bodies on the board. So playing down Odin is just too greedy at this point, sadly, just thanks to how aggressively our opponent is playing, I guess, or how aggressively we're playing. Because we played 2 Zeuses, taking 2 life, but I'm trying to empty out our hand size. We should have played the Cavendish first, but it's okay. They're going to counter out anyways. They go Dawn -1, look at the top of our deck again, and then they give us a 2k counter. So, boom, we played on the Cavendish and passed, so that's going to really help us with this chalked hand of how bricked up we are, and it also helped remove bodies off the board. So, basically, our opponent doesn't have a great rush option that I know of, other than the Tinlin. And they could, I guess, play the Tinlin, but then they're only swinging for 6, and we can't get out of the 6. We just take the 1. Pretty sure Tinlin has a rush for purple. And I've not touched OP11 so long, because you've seen so many EVO2 videos for you guys. So I'm excited to play this. It's just hard, because I haven't, like I said, I haven't played much recently, like of this format specifically. So they play the Katakuri for 2, because thanks to the smaller Katakuri. Then they're going to swing in for 7 at us. They play the Parasparrow. They get to ramp Dawn back. They get to swing in for 7. We're going to use the card action. We're going to drop one of our bricks. I think we're going to drop a Kiki Nojo and then a 1k counter. Teach. And we should be good then. Boom. Coffee time. Now they're going to ramp one as active with Parasparrow. They know the top of our deck as of now, but they don't know it right now for the 1-cost event. So if they do have the 1-cost event, which is why they ramp the Dawn active after, we are still very safe. Now, this category, kind of annoying. I'm not going to lie to you. Kind of annoying. All right, I think we have to start with Cavendish, a draw 2, trash 1, just to see our options first. I would rather see some options, and of course this does not help us. The Red Rock's going to be great, though. I think we're going to drop the other Cavendish, because we can't play 2 here. Now, what we could do is Red Rock. We have 4 additional Dawn after that. I think Red Rocking the Katakuri would be very good. I wish we had some removal for the Parasparrow, but we don't have them for removal safely. That's the big issue. Now, we don't have a way to filter any of the other bricks. It's just 2k counters in hand. So we're just going to swing 9, because that's going to force 2 cards out of our opponent's hand if they do have the 1-cost event. That's going to force out the 1-cost event, but instead they just use the blocker that they've been holding on to for the whole game that we kind of forgot about. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. I played on Pudding. I get to look at the top 5, grab a big Mom Pirate that costs 2 or higher. That's going to be really good for our opponent. They do still have the Parasparrow and the Katakuri. They reveal the 10 siblings, which is a 2k counter. Big Mom Pirate's purple. I've never actually seen the 10 siblings in the actual anime, but hey, it is what it is. They played on another Katakuri. We were going to play on another Red Rock then. They're going to swing in for 6 into Cavendish, and then maybe 8 into Cavendish. I think we need to counter out of this if we can, hoping that they go 6 and 7, because saving this Cavendish is going to be very important for this bricked up hand, because we always have a 2k counter out of our leader effect, so we can save our bodies pretty aggressively here. Kind of just depends on what our opponent does. Our opponent can ramp with Parasparrow, so they may go 7 into Cavendish and then ramp after, because they did check the top of our life with the Katakuri effect, and then they get the Dawn back. They play, we're going to claim the 1 piece, so they reveal another 10 siblings, so we know they have 2 2k counters here in their hand. We're going to Red Rock the Katakuri. They discard a card for the Parasparrow. They ramp a Dawn for Parasparrow, so that may mean the end of our Cavendish here. They see the Pudding, so we're about to draw into a Pudding that does nothing for us right now. And they are going to swing the 8 into Cavendish. So it was a hope that maybe they weren't going to, but of course they do, because that is the smart play to do. And yeah, I think we got a Red Rock again, sadly. We're going to Red Rock the Katakuri. Are we just going to swing another 9? I think we are just going to swing another 9. There's nothing else to play, and I don't want to put 4 on Zeus. Like, that doesn't do anything for us. So then they just Dawn -1 for the 5. get out of it for free. We get to draw a card at least. We draw another, oh my gosh. Oh my gravy, oh my goodness. 2 red rocks really help in this matchup though. Red rock is just so good in the next format. So make sure you have your red rocks. If you don't, my TCG player store is linked down below and I should have some in there. I'm not 100% sure. Doesn't matter. They play the Tin Land with Rush. So they swing in for 5. We are going to just leader effect, use card action, drop the Odin, call it a day. This says Dawn -5, your leader gets plus 2,000. Okay, so pretty simple there. Basically they get our leader effect. So we're drawing into a Nojiko, which is good. Very good, very, very good. This gives the power to only a leader. It's good to know as well. They're gonna swing in for 8. This has Rush, so we are gonna give them a 2k counter here, sadly. And then we're gonna have to take this. Puts us on a clock and a half here. A clock and a half for sure. So we could Nojiko the Parasparrow and Odin and Law. We could just Nojiko the Parasparrow. That's 2, 1 for Law, and then swing 12 into our opponent to put them down to 1. Then do we just lose? I don't think so. Well, they just need a removal for a 1-cost character though. Because there's not really a way to win with Kid, because all they need is a 1k in hand, and we know they have a 2k, because we just go 7, and then we burn the life and then go 7. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure this out. I think this is our best bet, these two, sadly. We're gonna go 11, just because the math makes sense to go 11. Because if they Dawn -5 and then Dawn -1, they're only gonna be on 6 Dawn next turn, so if they can get out of this, I'm not too scared. I mean, like I am and I'm not. But we can show 1 for Slave Arrow at least. They end up taking, of course, which is the smart play here in my personal opinion. We get to draw an additional card thanks to that. Of course, it's a brick, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to replace the Hiyori. And pass. 1 Dawn active. Where I think we're just toast. I literally do, because I think at this point you just split, equally with the 2 characters. You can go 14 and 13. So just put 1 Dawn on Linlin, and then you just swing it with the Katakuri, get that extra power. You swing... I guess you can go 14-14 to split because you get the free extra Dawn. So you put 2 Dawn on Linlin, we block, and then you just go 14-14. Now, what we'd have to do here is do this, and we just lose because we can't get out of it. There was no way out. Yep, we were really just bricked up in that Katakuri matchup. Not too much we can do there. They did have the 1-cost event, as you can see in the hand. This one, it basically just says if you may declare a cost. Oh my goodness, Blue-Purple Reiju gets a ton of support. My hair is chopped right now, boys. My hair is chopped. We are going to do this anyways. Then mulligan that hand, that is not going to work for us. Our opponent chooses to go first, of course. And we don't really have a trigger to play, so I don't want to do the Hiyori. It would be nice to draw an extra card, but it's like, I guess we could put the Kiki Nojo at the bottom or something for later, but that's not really going to help us. I mean, if we put it at the top, it forces us to kind of counter out next turn. I don't really want to counter out next turn either, because we wouldn't even get a trigger out of it. So we'll save that and just play it on the blocker and pass to our opponent who's playing Reiju. Reiju gets so much more support in the new set, so we'll just have to see what we can do with that. 5. I don't really want to counter a 5. Would have known it was only 5, I would have done it, but we're just going to take it. We're going to take it. We'll find another blocker. The Hiyori would have been great. Would have put another blocker on the board last turn and then just counted out for 1 right there. Ugh. What it is. Nothing we can really... We don't really know it's going to be like that. They play down their old Reiju that draws 2 cards. They draw 1 for leader effect. They went Dawn -1. They find the German Kingdom stage. They get to discard a card. And then look at the top 3 and grab another character. So they put the Ichiji blocker, which says... If you have a character with a type that includes Germa in play, you may activate this effect up to one of your leaders or character getting plus 1,000 for this battle, then trash the top 2 cards of your deck. Alright. I see what we're working with. I think we're just gonna go Cavendish. We don't really need to leader effect this early. I mean, if they go with Chiji, like 1-1, and then we lose 2 cards in hand, like it is what it is at the end of the day, or we just take 1, counter 1, and then block 1. Like we have the Vista for a reason. We'll just play down a Cavendish and pass. Getting down the Cavendish early is gonna be good. We're almost to the point where we can play down the Hiyori into the Kiki Nojo to get another body on the board, basically for only 2 Dawn, and then also be able to draw a card here. So we're pretty good little spot here. The pudding does nothing in this matchup, so I don't mind ditching these for the 1k counters here, and then block out of the 7, keep our 3 life, because our opponent does play a very aggro deck. And then we're gonna go for... Do we even worry about clearing board? That's the annoying part of this deck. They played on Reiju, the other Reiju, which is a 2k counter, and looks at the top 5, reveals a German type character, adds it to the hand, and then place the rest in the trash. So it does trash a lot of cards from the deck. That is kind of wild. We're going to give them a 1-cost pudding and a 1-cost pudding. They choose not to swing with the Reiju. Kind of interesting there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We're going to swing in for 6 just to draw 2 trash ones, see what our options are. Red Rock not needed. Not in this matchup, in my opinion. Like, it's good removal for the Ichiji, I guess, but I'm not too worried about bottom decking the Ichiji, I don't think. I think the Kid's going to be good. The 1-cost blocker is going to be good. Yeah, I think we just drop Red Rock. I could be wrong there. I honestly could. It would not surprise me if I was wrong. It would not surprise me. So our opponent does counter out. We can either go 7 and then Kikinojo. I think we're just gonna go 7 at our opponent and see what our opponent does there. I think, oh yeah, I see the line. I figured it out. 7, watch, boom. They take, we get to draw a card, and then we get to see our 4 cost options. We see none of these are really what we want. So we're going to tap 2 for Hiyori, use the card action, take the top life, add the Kikinojo, and then 1 cost blocker, and 1 cost blocker. Boom. So now we can definitely save the Cavendish very easily. We have a trigger out of life to put another body on the board to help us later in the matchup. If our opponent goes at Chi-Ji -2, we can still probably save our Cavendish at this point if we want to save the filtering through hand. If not, I mean, we can easily play down Odin on the next one, be able to restand as active, and really swing in aggressively. So we should be kind of stacked up here, I'm not going to lie. So our opponent does go 5 at us. We're going to drop the Kid. I don't think we're going to need Kid that bad. And now we kind of see what our opponent wants to do here. They drop the Ichiji. The 4 cost Ichiji was kind of wild to drop for this Germa stage. I'm not going to lie to you because that card is just so good. They grab a Yanji, which is a blocker, and then can't be KO'd or rested by your opponent's effects. It's actually pretty good for a blocker, but it is a 4/5 at the end of the day, so it's not anything crazy. And then our opponent's going to swing in for 7 here. They want a 2K counter out of hand, and we'll give it to them. And then we'll block out of whatever they swing in next with Reiju. So I think playing the Ichiji there would have been the best play, unless they have 2 of them. Maybe that's what they were thinking, but I really don't know. So 7 more. We're just getting them a blocker because we got to replace it anyways this turn. And now we get to kind of go into the board. They played on the Yanji, Dawn -1, play out the Yanji blocker. No, we can't rest it, but it's just a blocker at the end of the day. Like, who cares? It doesn't do too much for us or against us. So we're going to swing in for 6 into this Reiju, draw 2, trash 1. We're going to trash the other Cavendish. And then we're going to swing in for 6 more. And then we're going to play down the 7 cost Odin. I think that's going to be the best play here. So we're just trying to clear up a few bodies off the board. Now we're kind of okay with losing the Cavendish because we're going to have the Odin. We've already gotten our value out of Cavendish at this point. So I think we're kind of set. I'm not going to lie. I feel like we're in a good spot. We're just going to take a couple cards out of hand. I could swing face or life. It's going to be the same. So you're going to counter out either way. And then we're going to put down the Odin and pass. So now we have characters to also bounce back, being the Hiyori. So we can restand this Odin on the next turn. We don't have to do anything else. We get Nojiko. This can't be KO'd or rested. This can be bounced. So what we can do is swing in with Odin, restand Odin, bounce Hiyori back, and then now we have an open spot to play down a character. So we can go like 8, bounce Hiyori, play down Nojiko, bounce the blocker, or bounce one of these other characters to hand. Kind of settle up that way. They are on 7 here. So they could just straight up play out the Ichiji. They're just trying to get a card out of our hand here. And I think we will give it to them. Because we're okay losing the Cavendish now. So if they want to go all out into the Cavendish, that's cool with me. They can definitely do so. Now, I don't know the full deck build for Reiju, but we will be doing a build on this. Because, I mean, it's basically only Germa. They do run the Black Maria. But certain ones say, like, only Germa. Like, if your leader has the Vinsmoke Tide, one Germa added to your hand. I think it's the Ichiji, which we saw them search up earlier, but they haven't played it yet. It looks like they may be playing it here, actually. It's this one right here, if you only have characters including Germa in play. So that's going to be right here, the 7 cost blocker. Then it gets placed at 3,000 power. They do have a lot of cards out of their deck already. So this deck is kind of scary. Imagine decking out. Imagine decking out. They're going to swing in for 7 here into our character. It's going to be 7, and then after that, I mean, if we just let this go, they can't swing anything else. We keep all our cards in hand, so just let Cavendish go at this point. In my personal opinion, I think that's the best option, because they can't swing us. They can't swing our life at all. There's nothing they can do, so we're pretty safe here. What we can do now, so we could Nojiko. This might be cooking here. Nojiko, bounce, swing 8. We're going for clearing the board. We don't need to. That's going to be 3. Yeah, I like this. Activate main, return Nojiko, restand, and then we can go 9 and we could go 8 and 8. So we're gonna go 8 more. We're gonna go 8 more after that, and then we're gonna Nojiko again. So they give this plus 1,000, they block, and then they need to give us 1 more 1,000 counter. So they give us the Yanji. I'm almost tempted to go 9, like tax cards out of their hand, but I don't think they care about losing cards in hand, honestly. I think it's better just to stick with the original plan. We're not too worried about the blocker right now. We're gonna Nojiko again. I want them to take a life so we can draw a card. Draw, and then we're bouncing these, so they have to use other options. So we're just gonna bounce the Reiju. Now we clear up their whole board, and then we just pass. They can't just KO this character at all. They don't really have their removal. If they red rocket, we just discard these 2 cards because they don't have counter anyways. And then we still have 2 blockers on the board, so we can save it if they swing into it. So they go Ichiji, Dawn -1. They're gonna play out the 7 cost Ichiji with Rush. They're gonna give this -2,000 power. Pretty simple here, and then they can go 8, 8, 8, I think, after that, because they can put 1 Dawn on each of their characters, and then 3 Dawn on their leader, and go 8, 8, 8 into 6, so we'll have to be able to give them a 2 and a 1, and then a blocker. We'll just take this, we'll use the trigger, we're going to replace the Nojiko here. I'd rather return the 2k to hand with the Odin effect, but even now, no matter what, if they swing us, we counter, if they or we block. If they swing our bodies, we block too. So either way, we're going to be cashing in on these blockers. They don't really play the Niji anymore that bounces the blocker or KOs them. So now we can actually just give them, we can keep one of our blockers. So we'll give them a 2k here, and then we'll give them one of the blockers. I think that's the best option. If he would have swung 8, like I think he should have, would have done a little more to what we were trying to do, but they can't just 4-cost Reiju because that would come out of their hand. They'd have 7 cards in hand, they wouldn't draw a single card. So don't know how properly they did it. They play down the Yanji instead. Yanji's good, but I don't think it's going to do too much for this position that we're in here. We should be able to remove this Ichiji pretty easily. We're just going to block out, no leader effect, of course, and call it a day. Now we get another 2k. 9, 9, 9, 2. So we can go 11, 11. So let's start with a 9 into Ichiji. We're just really trying to go clear up the board here, I think. Or are we just going to go face? Because we don't really lose next turn. Let's go 9 into the Ichiji. Force them to have more answers for more Ichijis. They haven't used their German Kingdom though, so that tells me they probably have a pretty good hand. I'm just trying to tax their... Do I tax their hand though at this point? I don't think so. I think this is the best option. I think we just go face. I don't know why I even went for board. I don't know why I even went for board. Ooh. I don't think we need Nojiko though. I think Nojiko is not necessary because to bounce this, then they just get it for counter. So I think what we do here is return Hiyori to hand, restand the character. We'll swing in for 8, and then we'll go 9 again. So it's like they counter this one, they block out of the next attack. They have only 3 bodies, and we have a ton of counter, and they're plus 2,000, and we have a blocker. And they're giving us 1Ks here, so that tells us they don't have a ton of counter. They also have the chopper they're still running in this deck profile, which is kind of interesting. Swinging for the 9, they block out, we pass. So they still have 1 life, we have 2, but we have so much more, I feel like, going on for us. Because, I mean, we have 6k counter, we have a 7k leader, so we just discard the Kikinojo or something. If they KO the Kikinojo, we just get to gain a life. So we should still have this body on the board. If they leave the blocker up, I guess they'll be in a better spot here. They played on the Reiju, they get to draw additional cards. They discard the Ichiji with the stage to grab an Ichiji. So they can play on another Rush Ichiji here, which is very, very strong, because now they're going to go for clearing the Odin. Odin's going to be a great option to clear. We're going to take if they just swing in our face, I feel like. If they Dawn -2, they Gamma Knife, make this into a 3,000 power character. They're going to swing 5 into it. There's no way to save this, so we're not even going to worry about it. I mean, if we were to save this, that's a lot of cards out of hand. I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather prolong the game and continue going on, because we have tons of options here. 7 into character here. I think we're kind of fine with that, I'm not going to lie. Because if not, I mean, they only have 3, so I don't really know what they can do for 3. They can Yanji again, play out another blocker, and then they go 8. Is this worth 1 card? I think this may be worth 1 card, but I like the Zeus for removal. Well, not this late in the game. Okay, we'll give him a 2k, and then see what he chooses to do. Puts him in a tough position. He does have the Yanji, so then he can play out the Yanji. We have the Nojiko to bounce the Yanji, but we can't bounce the Ichiji. He's going to go 8 with the Ichiji instead. He plays down Sanji, so they're going to keep up 2 blockers here, which is the best option for our opponent. I think that was actually a really good play. They have the Sora. They're down to 11 cards in deck. Well, we do get the Gum Gum Red Hawk, but that does not work in this position. So I'm thinking Hiyori, replace the top of our life with Kikinojo, and then draw an extra card. So I have a ton of counter. We can bounce the Yanji with Nojiko. So what, 4, 5, 1 for leader at least, 2 for Hiyori, and then 2 for Nojiko. Then we lose our whole hand though, and we don't really put on that much pressure. There's so many options with this deck, that's what makes it hard. And we're in that late game where it's difficult. We definitely need to put a body on the board though, which I think will be Cavendish. So I think Hiyori's just greedy. I think Nojiko's definitely not bad. So I think we're going to Nojiko, bounce Yanji, so they don't get a free block out of our attack. We're going to swing in for 8, 8. I think we're going to go 7, 8, and then play on the Cavendish. No, it's going to be 7, 7. They give plus 1,000 power to the Reiju. They should have blocked and just gotten a free 1,000 to the character. That would have been perfect. And then we're going to go 7 more into our opponent. They should block and give us a 1k here. Ooh, they're just going to take. I like it, I like it. No, they're going to counter. They should have blocked and then countered. A little confused, not going to lie. Not going to lie. Just gonna play it on Cavendish and pass. We have 1 Dawn active for our counter events. We're sitting on 6k counter total. I'm vibing with it. Interesting position to be in for both of us. I mean, they're down to 8 cards in the deck. They have a Reiju they just drew. They're at 9 total Dawn. So I'd say our opponent's in a pretty good spot here. Can we freely take this? No, sadly. We'll use the card action, drop the Kikinojo, call it a day. That makes us 7k. We get it for free. We're gonna use the leader effect later anyway, so no reason to just take it. So now if they split with their characters, they have 9 Dawn, so it'd be 3, 3, 3. So it'd be 9, 9, right? 4, and then 2, and then 3. So it'd be 9, 10, 11. No, 9, 9, 10, something like that. We're gonna let this, I think we're just gonna let this go, gain a life. I mean, the game's just getting prolonged, and the longer it goes, the lower cards they have in their freaking deck. They're down to 7 cards total. Don't really have a way to return cards from the board to the deck, so fine with me. They played on the Yanji blocker again. They are trying to be like, hey, you need the out for all these blockers, and if we don't have it, we're in a bad spot. But really we're not, because they're drawing more cards now, and now they're gonna only have 4 cards left in deck, 3 for a Reiju. So I mean, at the end of the day, they have to beat us in the next 4 turns, and I think we're a little too set up for that. We could completely replace the hand with what's in the deck. It doesn't really do anything at all, but that would be funny. It'd actually help them out. They'd put more cards in the deck. Well, if we hit them for their life first. They're gonna swing for 8. I think we're just gonna take. We get a Zeus. This is pretty good. Camming a body on the board. I think we literally just swing all out. Like 11, 10, 11. Because I don't think there's any reason to give them cards in hand. Like cards on the board. Force cards off the board by doing this. We just don't have any options on the board. Maybe we just start with an 8. See what happens. Draw 2. Trash 1. Yeah. I think that's actually the best play. It sucks that the only reason we did an 8 was in case you got like a kid or an Odin or some big body to put on the board. And Odin would be amazing. So we did 8 to do +1 to the Ichiji and still have to cost a card from hand. Yeah, and then we're gonna do 5. We're gonna do 10 into a body on the board so that he has to block out. I guess either way we're getting to 5k, so if we go here he could counter and then we're kind of in a worse position. Or is it better just to pressure the life? Because then he has to go for game. We're gonna go life. We are gonna go life. He's probably blocks either way, yeah. We were gonna play down a teach and forgot. Not gonna lie to you. I did plan on playing down a teach. So they can't draw a card, they can't go down -1. If they go down -1, this is a must do. When one of your Dawn is returned on the field to your hand or to your deck, draw 1 card. So they have to draw a card. 2. They're just gonna lose. I'm so confused. They just lose. They have to go for game. They have 1 card in the deck. They have 1 card in the deck. What do you do? I am so lost. I am so lost. Once they draw this card, the game's just over. They know that, right? GG's. What a way to win. What a way to end a game right there. All right, so that was the Reiju. That was a very long game, very interesting game. And yeah, you can see how we kind of continued the game on and how we were in a very safe spot. We had the Kikinojo at the bottom, Red Rock coming in into our hand. Used as Captain Kid, and they only had like 4k counter, so even if we burnt their life with Kid, we still couldn't have won in that turn. But I mean, we still had the Vista blocker. We had tons of counter. We have our leader effect. We have the 3k, like, chilling. So, hey, GG's to our opponent. We're on to the next match. 1 more match. All right, we're going to take second here against Koby. Koby. We're going to look in that hand. The hand does nothing for us. This does a little something for us at least. We have the Nojiko and a couple bricks for the Kikinojos, but that will work because we'll play them on 4. I go down to 2, and then I start armoring up, you know, with this defensive strategy that Nami has, you know, with the times when Dawn effect. So we're in a really good spot here. I like the Peacock. It's going to look at the top 5, grab a Navy. They grab Brand New, which is a searchable top 3 that they can play on their next turn. Really filtering through the deck very well for our opponent. Issue with Teach is they have a lot of characters that attack active characters, but it may get us some value. I just really doubt it. I'm okay forcing an attack into the Teach though later on, so we'll just play down Teach and pass. I'd rather do that than Trafalgar Law. I'd rather force them in the Trafalgar Law late, kind of basically just being a blocker at the end of the day anyways, especially with our wall up strategy. So we'll use this and hold this for later. Trust, it's gonna work, bro. I promise. Our opponent's gonna swing in for 6 here. We are going to take that. No trigger. We get our 3rd Teach because Sim shuffling is real. We're going to tap down for 4 into the Kikinojo. We're going to use the Teach just to get some value. We're going to put a, I don't know, Kikinojo at the top, give 2 Rested Dawn to our leader, swing in for 7. They should take, and we get to draw the Kikinojo back. So we don't really lose anything. We got 2 free Dawn. We got to go and hit them pretty heavily and draw. So pass. To our opponent, we got some value out of teach. That's important, especially in this matchup. Now, Nojiko won't really do much now that they have 5 cards in their trash. Basically, Kuzan says on play, trash the top 3 cards of your deck. And then when attacking, up to one of your leaders or characters can attack active characters on the turn that it's played. So Aromaki trashes cards from the top of the deck and then makes a character being able to attack active characters. They choose brand new and they swing in for 5 into the teach. Do we want to counter this? Let's see what happens if we do. I like forcing their characters into it. I don't think their leader can attack right now, so we're gonna go ahead and take this one as well. I know that's crazy to some people. Some people may be like, why would you take something like that? Because I can. That's how strong I am. I'm just a strong, independent little boy. What we're gonna do here is Kikinojo. That's gonna be 4, and then 2. We could Hiyori. Kikinojo, especially but our opponent's gonna go into more board. We're definitely gonna swing Teach into brand new. We know that. I'm fine with that. Even if they would have kept it like on the board, I would have been like, all right, run it. I don't care. We're gonna swing in for 6 at our opponent here. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. I think I'm gonna go brand new Kikinojo Law. We're gonna go 6 more because we just saw them use 2 1Ks to get out of that attack. That tells me they don't have a 2K, and even if they do, we get a draw card. So hey, perfect. Now we're gonna Kikinojo and then brand law. Wow, I keep talking about brand new. Like, what is my? I'm in love with brand new, I guess. Me and brand new just have a weird little relationship going on, I guess. We do have the Luffy, which has Rush, bounces characters, but bouncing characters against our opponent's not great. This will pass away at the end of the turn. Ephemeral. Interesting. Did not even know that was a word in the English vocabulary. So this plays out a, 8 cost or lower from the trash, and then it goes to the bottom of the deck at the end of the turn. They swing 9 to Kikinojo. We are just going to block out of that attack, because that's going to be Kuzan now next. I think they did this incorrectly, in my personal opinion. So I'm not going to use the leader effect. We're just going to block out because there's no active characters now. The Kuzan can swing active characters or whatever. So they can swing 5 into Teach and then allow Koby to swing active characters. They can swing 7 to Kikinojo, but that doesn't do much against us. We're going to let Teach go. I got an attack out of our opponent. That's cool with me. So now Helmeppo can attack active characters. We'll give them a 2K counter. And then Koby, I don't think can. We'll give them a 1K. Boom. Now we get to keep our whole board and get to kind of run into theirs, so that's cool with me. This does have Rush, which is a great option, but it's not a needed option. We're going to swing into the Kuzan. I think we're going to go with Odin this turn. I think Odin is the play. We're going to swing another 6. They got one of their 2Ks, but we saw they didn't have many earlier, and they didn't really filter for anything, so we should be able to remove this Kuzan pretty easily. Wow. Another 6. Is that going to be 2 1Ks out of hand? Nope. All right, Odin and pass. So now we're pretty safe here. We can let these Kikinojos go. We'll be able to gain 2 life. I'm okay with them being removed. I just want to be able to hold this Kuzan or this Odin. Wow, I need to figure out what deck I'm playing, man. I'm out here just talking about Koby. Like I'm saying brand news and freaking... What did I say for Odin? I don't even know at this point. Kuzan, give character minus 3,000 power. Your leader becomes 7. So can swing 7 into an active character, but that doesn't do anything. So we just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. We'll gain a life, little bro. And then I think we'll just take this. Boom, bam, bop. Because like now they want to swing 7 here. I just gain the life back. So really nothing changed if I'm honest with you. I definitely want to remove this Koby. That's for show. So I think what we're gonna do is play out Rush Luffy just to have more bodies on the board. We're gonna go 6 into Koby. It's a 4. So basically is just removed off the board. We're gonna go 8 into Helmeppo. I still think they don't have many 2Ks. If they do, they just drew them. Because then we're gonna go 9, and we're really just going for removing the board. So 2 1Ks, 9 is guaranteed, but showing me 2 1Ks means you don't have a 2K. There's not really a character I want to bounce, so I'm just not going to. It wouldn't really do anything for us, because now we get to Vista for free, basically. It's like now, if they play something to swing active characters and brand new swings the Vista, it's still okay with me. We cleared up the board perfectly. They have 2 life, we have 3, we have a huge board, and we really just use the information of our opponent using the 1K counters to our advantage here, because you can see how many 1Ks or how many 2Ks they haven't used. Now they probably just drew a 2K, meaning they don't have many options in hand right now. So that's the biggest, kind of information we get. So we're gonna go in leader effect. Actually, no, we're not. We're just gonna take that. What am I talking about? Another Vista is kind of wild. We should have actually blocked out of that attack. They drew the 2K, just like I talked about. And then they can attack characters on the turn they're played. So they have 7. They can swing 8, I guess, but that doesn't do anything for them. Yeah. Oh, this is just game. Watch this. 7. Because we also know they don't have 2Ks. This could be a counter event here, a 1-cost counter event, which is fine with me. We're going to draw another card. We're not in a place that we really lose, so we're going to go 9 into our opponent. This should go through very easily. Not going to bounce anything. Not going to bounce anything. They get the Radical Beam. That gives them +4. Doesn't do anything either. And then we get to go 12 and 12. So we get to use this effect twice, bounce the Vista back, and GG's. Hey, obviously they couldn't get out of one of the 12s, even with the Radical Beam and the 2-1K. So even if they did take the 9 properly like they should have, that was just going to be wraps. So GG's to our opponent. That was a fun game. That was our last matchup for Blue Yellow Nami. As you can see, I'm still learning a lot of Blue Yellow Nami, but I think we really pulled it all together at the end, and I think this deck's going to be a lot stronger than people really expect, especially if anything does happen to Blue Purple Luffy, which we know it's not going to be Gum Gum Giant because they are reprinting that in the Purple Black starter deck. I really don't know what they're going to do to really help us with that deck, because right now it kind of runs the whole meta, and I know they're doing Koala. I know that's going to be an option in OP12, but for us, that's like 2 months away, 3 months away, if not longer. Who knows when OP12? I don't know OP12 English release date yet, but even with Koala, I don't think just playing a counter deck just really fixes the meta for everybody else who wants to play other decks than just Koala or Luffy. So I guess we're just going to figure it out as we figure it out. GG's to all of our opponents today. The only loss, I think, was the Katakuri. It was a lot of fun, though, playing in the new OP11 format. There's so many things I want to work on in OP11, so leave your ideas down below. Collaborate ideas, whatever, video ideas, deck profiles, anything, leave them in the Discord. I'm always open to criticism from all the haters. A comment down below pushes the algorithm, so hate or love, leave it down below. I'll see you in the next video.